Chevrolet by candlelight. Yep, got my pocket flashlight. I'm at the tire store, came here for an oil change, blah, 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 blah. Didn't get to do that, but maybe tomorrow morning. Once I was in the parking lot, I thought, well, maybe it's time to change my clutch fan. That's roaring away, so I removed it with a special clutch fan wrench. Just like that. Too bad I couldn't figure out which way to unscrew it, so I just sawed it off with an air hammer, air chisel. Anyhow, I got the so-called old one off, and it's made in USA. See? But it's junk because it was just replaced, and it's locked on. It never disengages. No matter if the engine's cold starting, warming up, whatever. Just roaring away. So I undid that giant nut with a special tool that I borrowed from AutoZone for free. They charge you a deposit, and you have to give it back within 1 week. And you hammer on it that way towards the air filter box with a big wrench or a BFH. And once I had that off, and the fan shroud off, the top of it anyways, I figured, well, I might as well check my pulleys. So you spin them, you listen to how they spin, and if they stop within a revolution or two, it means the grease is nice and thick. That one's good. This one looks as if it was replaced not too long ago because it's shinier than the water pump housing. It also says made in Canada. You spin it, it stops turning right away, means the grease is good, nice and tight, good tension. And then way down there is the air conditioner idler, which I've removed with my junk Walmart tool set, which is missing a 15mm deep socket. And the reason I removed it, of course, is because it's worn out junk. I spun it down there, and this is what I heard. Whoops! Yep. El Junko. Spins forever. That means the bearings are on their way to failing, because they should not spin so easily. And if you drive it like that, you're going to be going through the desert with the air conditioning blasting after I put some Freon in. And you're going to regret it, because it's going to seize and chuck the belt. You'll have no air conditioning. Still spinning junk. So I went to Napa, just up the street, and somewhere here is my brand new one. Made in Canada, and the new one is $23 versus $18 at AutoZone, but I don't know if the $18 AutoZone one included the entire tensioner spring assembly. It spins half a revolution, which means that it's a number one. So you put it on, one bolt is ratchet's blocked by the idler arm. Whoops, got my flashlight down there, forgot to bring the camera. Duh. The ratchet barely fits in. Barely. And the crappy Walmart set only goes to 14mm in the deep socket, and the extension's too long and the socket's too short. So I used the 1/2-inch drive and put the socket on, put the ratchet on the socket, and I just was able to get enough swing. So I'm going to put that back on right now, and then put my long belt back on with my diagram. Hope I can get it right. And crank this baby up, and I'll get rid of that roar from the clutch fan, hard on the water pump, kills your fuel mileage. And tomorrow we'll come back for an oil change and maybe check the shocks if you could do that. How do you check shocks? Bounce on the bumper with the knee? I don't know. Take them off and put them on a bathroom scale. So that's what I'm going to do. Give me a minute, and I'm going to put my idler back on, and I can't show you because the camera falls over too easily. I need a tripod with a gooseneck. I got the idler on, and I got the hard to get to bolt in place. Get the monster LG junk phone. What a piece of crap this thing is. LG, absolute garbage. Lucky junk, LJ. So there's where the ratchet is. And just swing it. And tighten that bolt. There. Now see if I can get the other one. Oops. The socket's still on the bolt. I put a drop of oil in them. And tighten it down good and snug. It's dark here in Palm Springs at 6 o'clock. I'm going to lose the socket. I know it. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to regret it. Let's see, where am I? Repairing by feel. That's how you do it. teeth. Get that socket. There we go. How many foot-pounds is that? Who knows? Whoops. Can't put my phone anywhere. It's too flat. It falls. Give me a second. I'll crank her down. Alright, I got it snugged down nice and tight. Now I got to put the belt on, undo the tension on it. Noticing I have some debris in my pulleys. If I had a little tool, I could clean those out, maybe just a crappy knife. I'll start putting the big belt back on. There we go. Some of this stuff. Junk. Finished. All it needs is a little $1 bearing inside the pulley, which never wears, inside the idler, which I guess they do break, but I've never seen one. I guess I just haven't seen one yet. Time for the belt. Give me a second. Light off to save the battery, which dies every hour. Alright. I took some of the chunks out of the power steering pulley. Look at that. There's chunks of the old belt right in the grooves. Used my dollar store pocket knife that I bought in South Carolina. But I can't take the junk out of the grooves on the crankshaft pulley. It's just too hard to get down there, so I just have to live with it. Then I've got the belt under my thumb on this idler, and I've got the ratchet. Come on. Got the ratchet on the tensioner, but you can't see it. I can't hold the phone in my mouth. I can hold it in the palm of my hand, in the fingers, and use the palm on the ratchet and push down while I put the belt, my AC Delco belt, with the writing towards the front. Right there. Ding! There's a video of a guy taking the belt on and off of a Volkswagen Beetle with the engine running, but I'm not that sharp. And I got it the first try, thanks to this diagram. If it wasn't for that diagram, I'd never figured out. But we got a diagram, so luckily we can read little pictures. So that's it. I can put my crappy Chinese tools away. Oh, gotta put the fan shroud on. And here's my clutch fan. That's going back. Defective, made in USA junk. I've seen that before. Changed a few of them on the 6.5. Same thing. Would have been better had I left this fan shroud, this fan off. I didn't realize the pulley was bad when I put the fan on. I just said, well, maybe I'll check that. So what holds this in place? A couple of plastic clips. Everything is made of magic plastic. No more metal clips, just plastic, which work well when they're new. Yep, used to be a couple metal clips at the bottom or a couple of bolts with sheet metal nuts. They used to rust in place, everything rusts. So now they use plastic and it dries and cracks. Like that plastic tee right there. There's it right there. A couple of plastic tees for the heater, the rear heat right there. Yep. Fan shroud, air silencer, and go stay in our Airbnb. Hard to rent a room. People say the rooms are full, then they're not, then they are, then they're not, and then two people accept you, and oh, geez and crow. Fire this up in a minute. Stay tuned. Alright, everything's back in place. The only fatality is I lost one of those little push-in pins that hold the fan shroud together. There was one missing, now there's two. It's somewhere down there. I heard them fall down. So Miss Hip Chick's gonna crank this baby up. Hopefully I didn't forget any ratchets on the bolts or nuts and bolts or... Crank her up! So far so good. Well, when it runs, it sounds like it has a major vacuum leak. It just sounds the motor and the intake manifold has some junkyard markings. I have to go check the Carfax. see how this new fan shroud works, or fan clutch. Hopefully this one will disengage, otherwise we're going to have to get a made in Mexico or a made in China one. This one's roaring away just like the other one. It's a minute sometimes. I don't know, I got this whole thing apart again. Give me a break. USA junk. That should have disengaged by now. What are you supposed to do, huh? It's not what I wanted to hear. That's the reason I changed it. 30 seconds to disengage. Now what do I do? Napa and buy one, or O'Reilly's? I give up. Time to go to our Airbnb.